Guys, the weather is warming up, and this is the perfect time for you to get active outside. I know I will be. And I started using Mando whole body deodorant. With Mando, I feel completely in control of my body odor, no matter the situation, no matter the activity. And my favorite part, I can use this anywhere. Truly, it is full body security. Right now, new customers get $5 off a starter pack with our exclusive code and link. Use code Chael after you go to shopmando.com. This is clinically proven to block odor all day and help prevent odor for up to 72 hours. And all Mando products are paraben and baking soda free. I keep the solid deodorant stick and the spray deodorant in my arsenal so that I'm guaranteed to always smell fresh. Now, my go-to scent, Mount Fuji. New customers get $5 off a starter pack with our exclusive code. That's over 40% off your starter pack when you use code Chael at shopmando.com. Get a solid stick deodorant, a cream tube deodorant, 2 free products of your choice, and free shipping. Support the program. Let them know Chael sent you. Jack Della Maddalena. Am I saying it right? I want to. I will. But I think I got it. Jack Della Maddalena. Now, the first time he fought, I came to you guys and I said, hey, there's a dude. His name is Jack. He just fought. Make sure you keep your eye on this guy. And I want that credit. And I have to tell you, I actually got a phone call from Ryan Parsons. And I had seen Jack's fight. But Ryan calls me and said, man, are you seeing this guy? Are you seeing this Australian guy, Jack? This guy's amazing. He went on and on and on, which is what really brought it to my attention. And ultimately it made me sit down here, repeat it back to you guys. And the debut fight that Jack had, it was just a matter of he stalked his opponent. Right? I love it. I'm always looking for pressure. Pressure is the intangible. But much like the old expression, all a diamond is a piece of coal that withstood the pressures of time. And while that's cliche, it's very true. And you can minimize that down to an athletic competition, right? You can really minimize that down to who puts more effort out tonight, who worked harder in this round. And one thing on Jack's very first fight that he ever had is he was winning and he was dominating, but he never let up that pressure. He was constantly stalking. He was landing big shots. He was even taking some big shots, but none of those things detoured him from staying in his opponent's face and continually trying to win each moment of the contest. And that was years ago. But I remember talking to you guys about it. Now, this is a massively big deal that he just beat up Belal. And we had spoke about this, but Belal was a lot sicker than he let on. And when Belal agreed to do this fight, he wasn't even agreeing to fight Jack. As a matter of fact, when Belal agreed to the date and agreed to make the walk and put the strap on the line, knowing how sick he was actually agreeing to fight Rakhmonov. And I understand, hey, maybe Jack's the best guy. I understand that. But all we have is perception, and at the time, it was Rakhmonov. Rakhmonov, until Ian Garrett, had never lost a round. He had never lost a contest. He'd never been to a draw. He'd never even been to the distance. And that's the guy that Belal agreed to fight. So, I just want you to understand from that perspective. Like, there has been, prior to Belal having this fight, almost like a dancing on his grave. And as a fan, you're not wrong to do that. You can boo him. You can despise him. You can get behind him. But it is important when you look back on something. And as soon as that belt comes off you, you're not looking back. That was an era. That was a title reign, no matter how long or no matter how short. And when you look back on it, that's when you want to be fair. And fair isn't always nice, but generally, when you're talking about a world champion, it is. The guy had to do a lot of things right to be in that position. And the guy had to do a lot of things right from a courageous and competitive standpoint to be in a position to lose the title to a guy who wasn't even the first choice for number one contender. So I'm just bringing this to you. Like, it doesn't really matter who's better between Jack and Rakhmonov. It sounds like that's a problem that we're going to have for another day. But the perception and the rankings said it was Rakhmonov. And Belal didn't mind fighting Jack, fighting Rakhmonov. So what happens next? And I do feel that the appreciation for Belal is going to be a lot stronger in defeat. So many times. Well, we're seeing it activated right now, twice. We're seeing so many times, if a world champion gets beat, he gets an immediate rematch. Particularly if there's any kind of a favor done. Like it's a short notice or it's a... Right, imagine that Islam would have lost to Moicano. Islam would have got an immediate rematch. But not because of the surprise that it was. He would have got it for the favor that he did accepting that fight on one day's notice. He would have gotten one shown back to him, generally speaking. And we just saw this. The announcement of Sean O'Malley. He's going to get right back in there his very next fight. Try to get his belt back. Or the fight that they're working on between Big Unk and Piera. Like, it's very common that a champion, particularly when there's any kind of a cooperation done, and that wasn't even on the table. That wasn't even on the table for Belal. We're being told ahead of time that it was going to be Islam. And it was a very peculiar situation where I do believe it's going to be Islam. I believe that deal and the hands have already been shook, and I don't begrudge that. I get it fully. I just set the table with that to then ask you, what are you going to do with Belal? I mean, what are you going to do? And it's not quite like the same as a few days ago if I would have asked you this. You guys, who cares what happens with Belal? Now that he's in defeat, I do feel that people are going to be a lot kinder. I feel they're going to be a lot nicer. They're going to be a lot more supportive. But you can only be so nice and so supportive if you're openly saying the top-ranked guy doesn't get the shot because a dude that's not ranked at all is getting it. I mean, right? Your niceness and your kindness can only go so far when you're subject. So, what do you do with Belal? And apparently, Ian Gary, who I believed is the rightful number one contender. Ian Gary himself said, no, I'm not. It's Islam. Jack has already agreed to take on Islam. I mean, that fight appears to be done. It's the fight that nobody asked for. But it appears that it's the fight that we're going to have. So what would you do from a matchmaking standpoint with Belal?